Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Consultants Clinic. I'm Steve Gillard, head of the Consulting Services Unit, and I'm joined by my colleagues. There's Julian, who most of you just heard, who's the deputy head of the Consulting Services Unit, and also by Dela Peña and Angie Ignacio, who are trainers from our IT department. And the purpose of today's session is to look at the consultant management system, which is generally referred to as CMS. Use of CMS is necessary for applying for ADB contracts. It's a very comprehensive procurement tool, although it has certain limitations which you'll learn about. Consultants use CMS for finding and applying for opportunities, for registering for alerts, and for many other functions. But I have to point out that CMS is a very old system. The first modules were built around 17 years ago, and it's been developed on a modular basis. So it's not always entirely intuitive or easy to use, hence the need to have sessions like this to introduce it and explain some of the functions. It's also increasingly difficult to update and improve the system. There are many things that we would like to do, which we are struggling to do due to CMS and the architecture behind it. So, for instance, we have particular issues with interaction between CMS and other systems that we have, such as the ones that we use for TA funds. So you'll notice that if you've had TA-financed contracts, then often the variations have to be done offline. So we're currently working on a replacement to CMS, which we're titling CMS2 for the minute, unsurprisingly. And we're aiming to get a better user experience for everyone, and hopefully we'll simplify processes, make things more streamlined for things like invoicing and doing variations and things like this. We're aiming to have a full source-to-pay functionality regardless of the funding source, so this problem with TA will hopefully disappear. We also want to include latest AI innovations into things, so that this can help us in all manner of areas. We also want to be able to easily and quickly change business processes and introduce pilots if we want to. So, for instance, we intend to do things like having framework agreements for firms and things like this, which our current system prevents us from doing due to the complexity of programming it. So, hopefully, we'll be close to having some sort of minimum viable product of CMS2 in about 1 year, so we may be partially rolling it out. And in 2 years or thereabouts, we're hoping to have a fully operational system, although all of these timelines are, of course, very much dependent on budget and how things unfold. So it may be that if you come back for a similar session to this next year, that we'll have some interesting news and developments. So watch this space. That's all I want to say by way of introduction. I'm now going to hand over to Julian, who will go into a bit more depth. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So yeah, if you were in the session earlier, you already know who I am, but if you weren't, my name's Julian Doczi. I'm deputy head of the Consulting Services Unit. So yeah, we have a couple of very good IT trainers here this afternoon to take you through the depths of the system, CMS itself. I'm the guy that actually quote-unquote owns the system these days, so I've been building all the enhancements to it for the last couple of years. It's, as Steve says, it's an old system, Oracle-based architecture, so we can't necessarily do everything we want to do in it, but we also hear from the market that it still basically works okay most of the time. The learning curve is a bit steep, and that's why we have this clinic, because sometimes you need a bit of help registering, how do you put your projects in, how do you submit an EOI properly. So this is what this session will help you through, okay, with a slide deck they have with lots of screen grabs, because this is a difficult thing also to demo live, because you need to have different profiles. You need to be signed in as a firm. You need to be signed in as the ADB project officer. So we have a bunch of screen grabs on a PowerPoint slide deck for you that will also be able to be shared out after the event and can help guide you through your own journey in registering in CMS if you don't have an account already, in associating yourself, for example, as an individual to become an expert of a firm because the firm also has its own account, adding in your projects, submitting EOIs and proposals, putting in your cost data, your people data, responding to evaluation requests and the like, okay? So yeah, it's an old system, but it's a comprehensive system. I mean, it's not a Dropbox. I think the thing we always have to remind people of is don't leave proposals till the last minute, because in CMS, the idea of CMS, as it tried to be when they built it 15 years ago, was, you know, everything in the system, okay? So you put your expert details into the system. How many months is this person working? How many months is this person working? What is this person's monthly rate? You know, all of that stuff you have to type into the system. You can't just throw in a PDF document, okay, at the last minute. You have to spend the time to actually input the details into the system. And there's a number of verification warnings and error messages that we've programmed to pop up if you do something wrong, okay? So the thing we often get is the sort of, the deadline is 5 p.m. and at 4:55 someone's emailing us in a panic saying, I can't submit my proposal, I'm getting an error, oh my God! And this is the problem, right? Because I can't help you, I'm sorry, you know, I'm a procurement guy and everyone thinks it's gotta be fair, and the other 6 firms submitted on time, why didn't you, right? Because you have to take the appropriate preparatory action, you have to know that this is not a Dropbox. If you have problems, we have a dedicated help team of how many people? 10 people, CMS help? Do you know how many people sit down there? 30? 20? 20, yes. I mean, there's 20 people manning our CMS help desk, okay? And they're there for you. They're there for ADB staff who may have issues with the system. You email cmshelp@adb.org, and they can help you work through things. But not at 4:55 when your deadline is 5 p.m., right? They have a response time of 1 or 2 days. So, you know, if you've got an RFP and it's open for 4 weeks, you want to get yourself into the system as soon as possible. You want to start inputting your data as soon as possible so that if you hit a snag, if you hit something that you've never experienced before and you get an error message, you have enough time, leave yourself at least a week, to email CMS help. They get back to you within a day or so, and hopefully you sort it out in time to still get your proposal in. Because there's nothing worse than getting an email from someone who, you know, they spent weeks putting their team together, and then they don't get to compete after all because of some technicality, right? Nobody likes that. We don't like that. You don't like that, right? So let's try and work together to avoid that by learning more about the system, by being proactive to the extent you can, being in touch with our help desk to the extent you need it, and yeah, then hopefully we won't have, you know, as many issues. We'll get your proposals. We'll be able to evaluate them. And in a year or two's time, when you come back to this event and you come to this clinic, we may have a new system ready for you that will hopefully be a lot simpler. You know, hopefully our policies will also then be simpler, because a lot of what we have in our rules are as a result of the limitations of our system architecture, right? So by buying a new system, we also have the opportunity to make our rules a lot more streamlined and efficient as well. So we're looking forward to that. Steve and I are holding the pen on this new system and on the new rules. So you can also, well, don't blame us. Well, I guess you have to blame us if it goes wrong, but we're going to do our best to make sure it goes right. And again, come back in a year or two's time, and hopefully we can give you some exciting news about our new system. But in the meantime, we have another 50 or 55 minutes for these two lovely ladies to show you how the system works, how you sign up, how you register, and Steve and I will be here for technical or policy questions, while also our two lovely ladies here will be able to answer system handling questions, okay? So we're all here to help you through this, and please do keep it interactive. Jump up on the microphone if you have questions, okay? So over to you, whoever's first. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cristina de la Peña, and welcome to the session on consultant management system. So, as Julian mentioned, we will be going through some screen grabs because it's difficult for us to demo live because we are using different user profiles. So for this afternoon, we will be discussing the CMS login screen. As mentioned earlier, this is an old application, and while waiting for the new application to be in place, this is what we will be discussing this afternoon. We will be going through the CMS login screen, the consultant profile, how to register and affiliate profiles, and then we will also be going through entering the payment information. And then my colleague Angie will be the one to discuss consulting services on how you'll be able to view the different ways on how to view the consulting opportunities in CMS, and then how to submit your expressions of interest or your applications. And then lastly, we will also give a demonstration on how on where you can access the reference materials in CMS. Okay, so now let's go to the login screen. Okay, upon just open the browser and then type in cms.adb.org, and you will be taken to the CMS homepage. Just above, right, we have the navigation links, we have the consulting opportunities, we have shortlisted firms, we have awarded contracts. TA Claims Partner is a different application. It is mostly used by TA consultants or those who have consulting assignments under a project or a TA. And then we also have a consultant tutor. This is where you can download or view reference materials. And then just below that, the orange button. If you are already a registered user, then you can just click on the consultant/EA button, and then it will take you to the login screen. But don't worry, if you are not registered yet, you can do so by clicking on the register here link just below that. And then towards the bottom, we have downtime advisory. So in case there will be maintenance schedules, you will also be notified on when CMS will not be available for access. Okay, so upon clicking the orange button, which I showed earlier, we will be taken to the CMS login screen where you can input your username and your password. The username that will be inputted here is the email address that you used upon registration. If you have forgotten your password, don't worry, we have the Forgot Your Password link just below the login button. And then you can click that link, and an email notification will be sent to your email address where instructions will be sent to you on how you can reset your password. Okay, remember the navigation links that I showed earlier towards the top? We have the consulting opportunities. So when you click on the consulting opportunities, this is also known as CSRN, or Consulting Services Recruitment Notice. This provides the detailed information on the consulting services required for ADB financed or administered projects. So if you can see, we have, I think Julian also mentioned about this earlier. So at the right pane, we have the refiners or the refined by. For example, you only want to view consulting opportunities for a consulting firm. Just tick on the confirm, and then in the right pane, what will be displayed is only consulting opportunities for firms. Okay, so you can use the refiners to filter what will be displayed. We also have at the top, search by expertise, where you can type in the expertise that you want to, maybe you are a water specialist or something. Just type in the search by expertise and then click the go button, and it will display all the relevant consulting opportunities. And then next, beside the consulting opportunities is the shortlisted firm. So this screen provides information in case you want, because these are already shortlisted firms, right? So in case you want to participate as a joint venture or a sub-consultant, then you can directly coordinate with the shortlisted firms. Okay, and then the next screen is the awarded contracts. So awarded contracts is made available for public disclosure. This lists the consulting firm contracts awarded for consulting services. And then lastly, we have the consultant tutor links. So just type in consultanttutor.adb.org. But you can also click, remember I showed earlier, we have the link towards the top. Then you can click on that link, and then you can find reference materials, like for individual consultants or consulting firms. Okay, so now let's go to the registration. Okay, so upon clicking, or if you do not have a CMS account yet, just click on the register here, and then it will take you to this screen where you can maybe select if you are an individual consultant or a consulting firm. So before we go through the screen, let me just give you some tips. Just take note of all the required fields marked with asterisk. Ensure that information are ready and at hand before starting the registration process. We highly recommend for you to complete the registration within 15 minutes to avoid losing the entered information. So now let's go to the sample screen on how to do it.
Just jump in on this one?
Okay, sure.
Because I think everyone knows, if you've used this for a while, and it drives me nuts too. The system times out constantly. So you have basically 10 to 15 minutes, and if you don't press save, the system's going to time out and you're going to lose your data. So just press save constantly, okay? I can't emphasize this enough. It's old architecture. I know it sucks. We staff have the same problem. There's 15 minutes. Sometimes it's not even 15. Sometimes it's 10 or 5 minutes. So just, you put the data in one field, press save, okay? I can't emphasize this enough.
Okay, so just remember that if you maybe in a field you just inputted XXX, just don't forget to go back to that field after completing the initial requirements, because you might be able to be sending your expressions of interest with an XX information, right? So we don't want to do that. Okay, so this is a sample of the firm basic information. So basically, first you need to indicate your firm or your organization name. The acronym is an optional field, so you can either input an acronym or not. And then the overall narrative description of your organization or of your firm. And then when we scroll down, just input some more information about your organization or firm, like the country of incorporation, the year, and all these other. This is what I mentioned earlier. Just take note of all the required fields first. And then if you already have the information at hand, then you can begin the actual registration process. And then some more fields like the sector expertise, the address where your firm or organization is located. And then in the user account details, what is important to note here is the email address. So the email address that will be inputted or entered in this field will be your CMS username. So just make sure that you have entered or inputted your email address correctly. And then you have to retype the email address, of course, and all these other details. Then click continue. So you will be taken to the attachments and certification page. Okay, so in the attachments and certification, you can click on the add attachment to upload any supporting documents regarding your firm or organization, like maybe you have some certificate of recognition or your year of incorporation and all that. And then lastly, just check the certification checkbox, indicate your name, the position, and the organization, and then click submit. So once you have inputted all this information, you would have completed the simplified registration. Okay, just a tip, just please complete your profile information. So your profile, you can select information to be highlighted in your expressions of interest. So my colleague Angie will show you later how to send expressions of interest. And then your CMS profile can be used as your CV or your company information. And kindly take note that once you have completed the simplified registration, you will now be registered in the CMS database, and ADB staff will be able to search for your profile in CMS. Okay, so this is what I mentioned, completing the profile screen. So upon completing the simplified registration, upon logging in, just click on the profile, and at the right side, you have all this information. Just complete these details. So after completing, maybe in the simplified registration, you do not know the details yet. You just inputted some, maybe a letter or two, just to be able to proceed with saving the information. Then you can go through the details, like consulting entity details, employees of the organization, and the like. Okay, so now let's go to the affiliation.
Say just one thing first before you move past profile. I think something you might be wondering is, does anyone actually read those profiles? And the answer is yes, okay? So it behooves you to put detail into your profile, particularly if you're competing as an individual consultant. Because what often happens is, you know, when you submit an EOI for an individual consultancy, there's a page in CMS that the project officer sees with all of the EOIs, and you know, you will have your little EOI that you submitted. Usually you've attached your CV, but sometimes they want to see more detail on who is this person, and you know, maybe your CV wasn't so great, or maybe you forgot to attach a CV, which often happens actually. Then what we do is we go into your profile page and we look through what you've put into your profile page, okay? And that gives us a better sense of who you are and what your projects might be. So if there's nothing in your profile page, or you've put only the bare minimum of information, then there isn't much for us to go by, right? So it's good for you to try and put as much detail in there and keep it up to date regularly as you can, because as you can see on that page, profile last updated, so we know when you last updated it. So if it says last updated 2016, then we're probably not going to take you very seriously, okay? So yeah, anyways, thanks.
Yes, also just to add regarding the updating of your profile, if you do not update your profile in CMS for a year, then your profile will get deactivated. So just make sure to update your profile at least once a year. Okay, so now let's go to the affiliation process. So a consulting firm can affiliate with an individual consultant. An individual consultant can also initiate the affiliation with a consulting firm, and then another firm can be affiliated with another consulting firm. So we will go through the screens for each one. First, how a consulting firm can initiate the affiliation with an individual consultant. So in the very important profile screen, just scroll to the key expert and then click on the Add Key Expert button, just below that. And then in the Firm Key Expert screen, just remember to input all the necessary details. So how do you know the important details? Kindly coordinate with the individual consultant that you want to be affiliated with. You have to indicate the CMS number, the last name, the first name, the date of birth, and if the key expert is a full-time expert, just toggle that to yes or no. And then once completing all the details, remember to click on the OK button. Okay, so after you have initiated the request, this is now the screen of the individual consultant. So the individual consultant or your key expert will be receiving an email notification. And then upon logging into their account, they will be seeing this action item under their dashboard. They can click on the project link or the Go to Task icon, and they will be taken to this screen where they can respond to the affiliation request. So they can respond by either confirming or declining the affiliation with the consulting firm. After selecting the response and then clicking OK, the affiliation request will either be confirmed or declined depending on the response that was done by the individual consultant. Okay, so now, individual consultants can also initiate the affiliation request. Maybe you are a consulting firm, they can initiate the request to the consulting firm. So the profile screen that is shown here is that of an individual consultant. So if you will notice in the right menu, there are different items because this one is for an individual consultant. So under consultant details, it's quite a lengthy page, especially if you have inputted or indicated some information already. Just scroll to the company affiliations section and then click on Add Company Affiliation. And then in the company affiliation screen, similar to the screen that was shown earlier, just indicate the CMS number of the consulting firm, the firm name, the country of incorporation, and then just toggle the full-time expert of the firm. And then if you would like to allow the consulting firm to view your profile, you can toggle that to yes or no. Just again, the reminder to make sure that all the details are correct before clicking on the OK button. And then similar to an individual consultant, the consulting firm, when you initiate your request to be affiliated with them, will receive also a notification, and then under their dashboard, they will see this action item. Just click on the Go to Task icon, which will open a screen similar to the one shown earlier. Then just indicate the appropriate response, and then click OK. And it should have completed the affiliation process of the key expert to the consulting firm. Okay, so the last one about affiliation is when a consulting firm would like to be affiliated with another consulting firm. Maybe this will work if you want to have a project together as a joint venture or a sub-consultant. So you would want to be affiliated. You would want to have a confirmed affiliation with that consulting firm. How do you initiate that in the system? So under the consulting entity details, just scroll to the affiliate organization section and then click Add Affiliate Organization. And then once again, provide the information like the CMS number, the firm or the organization name, and then the country of incorporation. We cannot reiterate it enough. Just make sure that all the details is correct, because if you do not input the correct information, then maybe that firm or the key expert will not be receiving the request for the affiliation. So make sure all the information are correct, and then click on OK. And then under the firm's dashboard, they will have the action item. Just click on the Go to Task icon, and then respond to the affiliation request by clicking either Confirmed or Decline, and then click on OK. Okay. Now let's proceed to the payment information. Just take note that during the registration process, the payment information is not yet required. You will be required to input the payment information when you will be going through the negotiation. Okay, so but we just want to discuss this because there are a lot of consultants who find it difficult to navigate the payment information page, which is why it is included in this demonstration. Okay, so we're still under profile, right? Just click on payment information and then click the add payment instruction, where we will be taken to the screen on adding or registering your payment instruction. Step 1 is choosing the contract currency. And then step 2 is choosing your account details. So just indicate your account number, your account holder name, and the account holder address. Just take note that you can register a third-party bank account. So you have, if you are an individual consultant, kindly input as the account holder name, or kindly indicate your own personal account. You cannot indicate a third-party bank account under your profile. Then step 3 is selecting the country where your bank is maintained or where your bank is located. And then step 4 is finding your bank. We have there a button if you were able to find your bank, yes or no. So we highly recommend for you to search for your bank in the ADB list of banks. So just indicate yes, and then click on Find Your Bank, which will open the screen where you'll be able to search for your bank. We have 3 fields available here. But take note that this is just search fields. So you do not have to indicate or input information in all the 3 fields. If you, for example, you just want to search for your bank name, just indicate the bank, just like in the example screenshot, we searched for BPI, and then in the list below, when you click go, it will list all your banks, or all the banks with the BPI, with the name BPI. Okay, so once you have, when you find your bank, just click on the quick select icon, and then automatically it will populate the bank, branch, and the bank address. So just take note or make sure that you have selected the correct branch or bank. And then in step 5, it is the inputting the intermediary or correspondent bank. So most of the consultants may be asking why. What is an intermediary bank? If, for example, you do not know what to input in the intermediary bank or correspondent bank, please ask your bank personnel to what information should be inputted in the intermediary or correspondent bank. Just take note that not all bank personnel are familiar with intermediary or correspondent bank. Kindly ask your bank personnel who handles cross-border transactions. You may ask, why or when do we need to input an intermediary bank? So you need to indicate or include an intermediary or correspondent bank when the local currency, for example, in the first step, I selected USD, and my payment or my bank is located in the Philippines. So the local currency in the Philippines is not USD. So that is when you need to provide an intermediary bank. I hope that's clear. Okay. It is highly suggested that you be the one to provide your intermediary bank to avoid any unapplied payments and delays and unnecessary transaction fees. Okay. And then the last step under payment information is attaching any supporting documents to justify ownership of your bank account. Remember, as mentioned earlier, please do not input or indicate third-party bank accounts. So please input, if you are in, especially for individual consultants, input your personal account. And then under the comments, you can just, this is an optional field where you can provide ADB, additional information, so when they are validating your account. And then once done, click submit. But don't worry, when you click submit, you will still have the opportunity to review whatever it is that you have inputted. It will display all from step 1 up to step 6, so you can review. And then once you have confirmed that all the information is correct, you will have a yes or no button there to proceed with the submission of your bank account. Just click on yes to proceed. Okay, so that's it for...
Just jump in on one payment thing, which is when you're being contracted, you have a choice of one of 8 currencies in CMS. US dollar, peso, Canadian dollar, euro, pound, Japan yen, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Yeah. So those are the 8. So you can pick of those 8 for a particular contract, and you can have different contracts with different payment currencies, but you can't change the currency once you've signed that particular contract. So if you sign a contract in euro, it's always going to be in euro, okay? So you have to accept that exchange rate risk if you are dealing with Forex, okay? So, we sometimes hear people moaning to us, oh, I signed it in euro and now the euro's devalued and I'd like to change it to dollar. Sorry, that was your risk. You made that decision when you signed the contract. So you have a choice of 8 currencies. You pick the one that's best suited for you and you stick to it for the contract. Now, other contracts, you can use other currencies, but we don't change currency under a particular contract.
Okay, I think that's it for my... Now, let me call my colleague Angie to discuss the consulting opportunities.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tina. All right. Consulting opportunities. May I know who among you have already registered in CMS? All right, so I guess. Oh, now you know how to get to consulting opportunities. Okay, consulting opportunities, this is where you're going to find all the jobs, okay, that is advertised in our consulting services, okay, in our CSRN. So I have 4 ways of viewing the consulting opportunities. One is through csrn.adb.org, cms.adb.org, which was already discussed by Tina. And then if you are already a registered consultant, you can see it in your opportunities tab. And of course, if you sign up in CMS and subscribe to this email notification, you will receive a weekly CSRN email notification. So let me show you how you will search your opportunities using csrn.adb.org. All you need to do is to type it in your browser, and then you will see this page. On the left side, so many times we have this mentioned this. On the left side, you have your refiners or filters. Filter it according to what you wanted to see on the opportunities here on the left side. So when you filter it, you will see the projects here and the CSRN, okay? So here on the left side, you have your project link. If you click on the project link, you will be led to the project data sheet, which was really discussed by Mr. Doczi. And then, if you are interested in knowing the details of the consulting opportunities, you can click on the View CSRN icon. So that is how you view using csrn.adb.org. Now, if you are in the CMS home screen, you can click the consulting opportunity. Okay, when you click consulting opportunities, you will again see the CSRN page where you can filter and view the advertised opportunities. Here's the third way of viewing the consulting opportunities. It is through your CMS. So just log in to your CMS, and then you will see your opportunities tab. We also have here our search filters. Just fill up or select from the drop-down list box. Maybe you wanted to view all the opportunities in maybe Bangladesh, Pakistan, Philippines. You can search it here. And then you can tick the boxes that you will see here, like the consultant source. Maybe you wanted to see those in national source, or consultant type is for individual. You can customize this search fields. Once you have customized, filled up your search fields, click on the Go button, okay? And then at the bottom of your screen, you will see the opportunities that you can apply for, or maybe have you wanted to send your expression of interest, okay? Now, the fourth one. Now, if you subscribe to the email weekly CSRN notification, you will see this from your mailbox. So just the same, click on the links, and then you will see the project details. Okay? Now, when you click the View CSRN icon, what do we see? So you will see here the details of the opportunity. You will see the profile. The profile which maybe, if I am the consultant, I want to know how much is the services budget? Or when will it start? If this is, I think, oh, this is a lot of money, then I will check the TOR, because this is where the task that will be asked for me for this project, and then the cost estimates. So you will see here maybe the remuneration or the out-of-pocket expenses. Okay? Now, it seems that this opportunity fits my skill. What do I do next? Just click on Express Interest button here. So this is now the time that you apply. This is your EOI screen.
Jump in on one point, which is on that page you saw budgeted amount, right? Now, something that's frequently misunderstood is budgeted amount does not mean contracted amount, okay? Both, whether you're an individual consultant or you're a consulting firm, and for firms you will also see it on the RFP page if you're invited to submit a proposal. But often we have individuals, where the budget might be $100,000, and then they say, why don't I get $100,000? Because that's not how it works. As an individual consultant, we establish a consultancy rate for you based on evidence that you provide of your past professional rates. So if your professional rate is such that it comes in totally with the amount of days below the budget, that's the amount we contract you for. And likewise, if it goes above the budget, then we have to check with the project team if they have additional budget, and if so, then they can make it work. But just remember that budgeted amount does not necessarily mean contracted amount, okay?
Thank you. So after you click your express interest button, this is now your EOI screen. You have to fill up your consulting firm information. So if there are joint venture or sub-consultant entities that you want to include in your EOI, click on the Add Entity. Now you also have to confirm on this section that you have uploaded the structures or the corporate structure, including beneficial ownership and also the board of directors. So you have to tick those boxes, assuring that these documents are uploaded in your CMS. Now, if you scroll down, you will see the assignment-specific qualifications and experience. So here you have to put the technical competencies and geographical experience that you have. So this will help our CMS selection team in considering the application or your EOI. So if you scroll down, you will see the project references section. Now the project reference section, as mentioned during registration, you have to fill up your registration and put it there, your projects that you have handled, because when you are going to submit your EOI, this will help you. Where you can click on the Add Project button, and then you will see this screen. These are all the projects that you already worked in. Now, when you want to see the details of the project, if maybe you're thinking, is this the perfect project that can support my application or my EOI, you can click the Details button. In the Details button, you will see the project details. If you think this is the right project for me, this will support what I wanted to apply for, just click this Close button, and then on this section, you can put the tick mark on the projects that you wanted it to be included in the EOI. Now, just to mention the tip here, choose project involvement that are most relevant to the published consulting opportunity, because it will back you up and make your EOI very powerful, no? When the CMS selection team is evaluating it. Okay? So once you have put or selected the projects you wanted to include in your EOI, click on Select. And then you will see here the key experts. Key experts, you can only add those experts that is who has this confirmed affiliation. So be sure that your experts, the status of your affiliation is already confirmed, okay? And then also, if there are any relevant attachments that you want the CMS selection team to use to inform them, these are documents that will help them consider you for this opportunity, you can attach it here. So just click Add Attachment, and then you will be led to this screen. So there's the title of the attachment, and put the description. And of course, choose the file that you wanted to attach. Once done, just click on Apply. And then you will be here at the eligibility declaration. So you have to read and review each of these line items and tick the appropriate boxes here. Once done, you can click the Submit button.
Can I add a point on projects, which is something that's a frequent issue, particularly with firms that have multiple subsidiaries or sister companies. You have to submit as a firm the projects that were actually contracted to the entity under which you're submitting the proposal. So if your not to pick on SMEC, but let's just use SMEC as an example. They're a huge firm. Let's say you're SMEC Pakistan and you're bidding in CMS as the registered profile SMEC Pakistan. You can't put a project in of SMEC Australia or SMEC Canada unless you have affiliated yourself in the bid with SMEC Australia, okay? So if we get projects where it's clearly not the same entity, we can't count those projects, we can't score those projects. And in a bad case, we could even, potentially refer you for fraud because you've represented the wrong projects, right? So be careful with that, especially if your firm has multiple entities.
Thank you for that, Julian. So, after submitting maybe 1 or 2 EOIs and you wanted to submit another EOI, but this opportunity has similar things that you already submitted before. So we have here a function that says reuse similar EOI. So you can use this for a similar opportunity, okay? So all you need to do is to click that button, and then you will see all those EOIs that you have submitted. So select the EOI that you wanted to use as your template. Just click Quick Select or the Select radio button over there. And then you will see this warning message. Don't be afraid, okay? Warning will really give you a heart attack, right? Don't. So this means that you are just using it as a template. The previously submitted EOI will not be touched or revised. So this is now your EOI for the new opportunity that you are submitting your expression of interest. So just click yes and proceed in updating the EOI template here. Okay, so submitting the EOI, we have something new, no? We have this new selection method, really fresh. So we have the new selection method that says simplified consultant's qualification. So this selection method, you can go to your opportunities tab, your CSRN. We call this CSRN. So go to the selection method if you want to view the SEQS advertisement. Then just tick the box, and you will see on the right side all those SCQS that is advertised in CSRN. Now, SCQS is designed for rapid mobilization of experts. Okay? So this is really fast, no? Yep. And then once you have...
You want me to... Yeah, I'm putting this up here because this is a single stage process, our new method, which is called SCQS. So there's no EOI, okay? So what they're going to show you here is basically when you identify an opportunity that is with the selection method SCQS, you are already submitting a proposal immediately. You are not submitting an EOI, and there are different legal implications to an EOI and a proposal, right? When you submit a proposal, you're making a legal promise to us that your experts and your budget and everything are available and as stated. When you submit an EOI, we're not asking usually for experts or for a budget yet. We're just asking for your project experience and your technical experience. And then if we like you, we'll shortlist you. Then we'll issue you the RFP. And that's when you take your official formal proposal. So what they're showing you here, this is the new selection method that we rolled out as a pilot last year. It's been going pretty well. We've had about 150 SCQS advertised to date. Perhaps some of you have already competed in them. And this is, again, it's for smaller assignments where time is of the essence, below $500,000, and it's just a single stage, single envelope proposal, okay?
Okay, so how does it look? So just the same on your standard advertisement, you click on the View CSRN button here, and then you will see these details of the opportunity. So you have to review the profile, TOR, cost estimate, data sheet, evaluation, criteria, and the attachment. If this is okay with you, you are interested in this, now what you will see here is Create Proposal button. So when you click the Create Proposal button, here is your single stage proposal screen. So all you need to do is to fill up complete all the sections. So you have here the sections joint venture, assignment, projects, etc. Up to the last part, when you have completed the first few sections until the proposal submission letter, you will see the verify and submit. Okay? So it's important that you complete all the sections of your proposal. Once done, or you are in the verify and submit section of this single stage proposal, you will see this screen. So there you go again, there's an error and a warning. So if it is an error, you have to resolve the error, okay? If it is a warning, you can put a comment and continue with the submission of your proposal, okay? So if you already resolved the errors, click again the verify and submit proposal, and then it will be forwarded to CMS. Okay? Now, after submitting all those EOI, who knows what happens to your EOI? You can check the status, guys. So all you need to do is go to your opportunities tab. And then on your opportunities tab, you have here your remarks column. You will see here the status of your EOI. You can see if you left your EOI as in draft status, or maybe you are shortlisted or not shortlisted. So no need to worry, you all have your information on your CMS. Okay? All right, so for references, we have our learning videos, quick reference guides. Okay, this is QRG, we call it QRG. So one source of that is the consultanttutor.adb.org. And if you are already registered, you will see it in your CMS dashboard. We have our quick reference guides on that page. So we're now open for Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Tina and Angie. Great presentations. And yeah, we've got a few minutes left. What about the timer says 6 minutes, but I think we can be a bit flexible. So happy to take questions from the audience either, and there's 2 microphones there, so maybe just line up, make a mad dash for the microphone. First one to get there gets to ask the first question. And then, yeah, Steve and I can take policy questions, and Angie and Tina can take technical questions. All right, I think this guy got there first, and then we'll go to that guy, and then we'll go back over there. So yeah, yes, you please.
Yeah, hi, this is Mani from TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. One quick question. Any thoughts in your roadmap for CMS to have multiple users within a consulting firm so that a new user, if he wants to register as part of the existing consulting firm, the majority of the information is already captured, so it just becomes the employee and the employee's email ID is getting captured. Rest all documentation is already there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we would like to do it. Sure, why not? It sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit restrictive right now, I agree. There's like the key representative, and then it's difficult to add people. So that's certainly something we'll look at in the new system. Over here, please. I agree. I mean, this is something that it's a hassle. It slows things down. Because we can't sign the contract until all the experts are in CMS, or we can't do the contract variation until all experts are in CMS. So sometimes everything's ready except there's one random safeguard specialist who doesn't want to sign up, or they take 6 months to sign up, and then everything else gets delayed. So as at the moment in the current system, that's how it's done, but I agree, it's something we're thinking about for the new system. Can we get away from having to have each individual expert have their own profile when it comes to a firm selection process? And it's definitely something we're going to explore with the new vendor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over here, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for the session. A couple of questions. Do individual consultants also have the choice to put the previous projects that they've worked on in expression of interest, or only the firms can do? That's one. Second, are there any transparent metrics or like a table that how ADB classifies consultants with different levels of experience in different sectors, and what are the day rates? I think something similar World Bank does with C1, C2, C3. Is there anything that ADB shares on that, so that we have an idea that which project, what's the consultant rate and all those things?
Yeah, thanks. First question, yes, individuals can also put their projects, and you can draw from your bank of projects for particular EOIs. That's right? Yeah, okay. Second question, we have a published list of job grades and what each grade requires in terms of years of experience, and also which types of job classifications, like, you know, administrative, professional, legal, etc. But what we don't publish is rate bands, okay? Because the way we set rates for individual consultants is based on your rate history, okay? So at the moment, we pay for the individual, not the job, which is a bit odd. I mean, most organizations pay for the job and not the individual, right? So if you need to hire a secretary and you're a former CEO, you should still be getting paid a secretary's salary. But in ADB, if you're a former CEO and we're hiring you to be a secretary, you're getting something closer to the CEO's salary, to the secretary's job. So this is the way we've set it up currently, but in the new system, we're also looking at that and hopefully going to change that to be more in line with other organizations. Steve, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I'd slightly like to retract that, what Julian's just said. You're not going to get a CEO rate as a secretary. I mean, we do look into account the similarity between the advertised position and the person's prior rate. I mean, it's all very well intentioned. ADB is trying to make sure that it pays a market rate for its experts. So whilst we may have a published rate, we will respect a higher rate if someone can demonstrate that they've got it for something similar recently. This has led to all sorts of problems. So for instance, you know, particularly where we're recruiting a large number of individuals into staff consultancy type roles, we'll often have positions where somebody is doing basically the same job as the person sitting next to them, but the person sitting next to them has managed to substantiate a significantly higher rate, and of course this creates bad feeling, and then sometimes these people are in these roles for a number of years, and over time they get inflationary adjustments, and the difference just grows. So these are all things that we're trying to look at. As Julian said, I think we're going to try and move more towards costing for the actual job than the person. And we've also done some pilots recently where we've done actually fixed rates, where we've said in the CSRN, the procurement notice, the rate for this assignment will be, let's say, $250. Then everyone knows that that will be what they will get. For some people, this may be much more than they're currently getting. For other people, it may not be worth their while applying. But that's the idea. I think we may be going down that route in the future. We've done some research across other institutions, and really there's not many institutions who do things the same way. So there's half a dozen different approaches out there, but we need to find the one that most suits us. And obviously we put a lot of resources into negotiating contracts, and we put a lot of resources into these discussions and preparing all this information, which is possibly not the most efficient use of resources. Thank you. Question over here, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Doit Sevilla from Prime Nimble Partners, New Zealand. So question is just very short about the affiliation of consultants, both as individuals and as organization. For an individual, can an individual be affiliated with multiple consultancy firms? That's my first question. The second one is that, is there an expiry to the affiliation of either an individual or another firm to another firm? Thank you.
I believe the answers are yes and no, but can I confirm that?
Yes, the first one you can affiliate. The first one you can affiliate with a lot of multiple firms. Yeah.
And no expiry, yeah.
No expiry.
Yeah, good. So we're out of time, but if those are quick, if you can, the two of you just We'll take them both at once, so just say them and then I'll take them both.
Okay. My name is Yuriko Kodama from CTI Engineering and International. My question is about restrictions of participation in bids. What I would like to know is whether the consulting firms or individual consultants that were involved in detailed engineering design are allowed to bid for the consultancy services of construction supervision of the same project. My understanding is that as long as you are not involved in preparation of TOR for the consulting services of CS, you are allowed. But I would like to know if my understanding is correct. And if the answer is not allowed, I would like to know in which regulations that is stated. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And the next one?
Well, my name is Borjal. I'm from Mongolia. Well, my question may be not related to your presentation, but the question is this. Do you guys have any policy on newcomers? Like, I'm not, no offense for existing experienced firms, but the brand new comes in and do you have any supporting policies, bring them into the ADB market? So that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the lady's question on whether, in the case of the specific example, detailed design and construction supervision, and there are other possibilities that can arise. There's a basic provision in our RFP called unfair competitive advantage. You can see this if you're issued the proposals document. And basically the answer is it's allowed, provided, as you say, the firm hasn't contributed to the terms of reference, and provided that ADB discloses all of the documents that the firm prepared as part of the initial assignment. So the firm that prepared the detailed design document, anything that they gave ADB has to be shared to all the other firms as part of the competition for the construction supervision assignment. So that's where it's sort of the leveling process where we can still allow the benefits of the initial firm to compete for that assignment, but we also make it fair for the other competitors by sharing with them everything that the firm knows. So that's the way we generally do it. On the gentleman's question, we don't have any particular, let's say, points or evaluation advantage to a newcomer or to a small and medium enterprise, for example, which some organizational procurement policies have certain, carve-out programs or incentive programs to, for small or medium enterprises or for newcomers to their organization. You're all on the same playing field in ADP, whether you're an old timer or a newcomer with respect to our procurement rules. There's no evaluation advantage or disadvantage in either way. So, we look at your experience, we look at your CV if you're an individual, we look at your project records and technical records if you're a firm. And again, as we've mentioned throughout this event, right, it's obviously ADB experience is valuable, but it's not by itself the only thing that's valuable. I mean, if you've worked for other MDBs, that's also valuable. If you've worked in the development sector, for other donors or development partners or whatever the nature of the assignment may be, if there's relevant experience, is still relevant experience and will be looked at. But, obviously the project officer in ADB who's reviewing the CVs or the proposals wants to be assured that they're hiring someone or an entity that's competent and that will do the job well and that offers a fair cost. So the more you can present an offer that assures them of that, we do take, as was mentioned in the plenary yesterday, you can win as a prime contractor an ADB contract for the first time, right? I mean, there's no restrictions against that, provided you do your research, you bid for the right thing, you put in a good bid, etc. Right? Obviously, experience helps, right? But it's not going to exclude you from the process by not having it. Hope that helps. Okay, so we're out of time. I hope this was a helpful session. Again, we're always available to take questions after the event or separately offline. But best of luck with your bids and with signing up in CMS and everything else. And I hope you find lots of opportunities for you in this event. Now you know how to use the website if you joined my session earlier. Now from this session you know how to register and how to submit bids for ADB's consultancy assignments. So go out there and do your best. And we look forward to seeing you in the process. And I'm the guy that signs all the contracts, so I look forward to signing contracts with your name on it. Thank you.